wonderful morning to you out there, and sincere apologies for starting a little bit behind schedule. It was really due to some technical hitches, which of course have been put under control. My name is Eustace Okere, and this is how I welcome you to Politics Today. I have very important dignitaries, especially from Okigwe Zone right here in the studio. In no distant time, you'd get to know them, three gentlemen who of course here in view of the 2023 November 11 Imo Guber election. Good morning, and of course stay glued to this dial. Right, welcome back. Remember, we are still in politics today, and I did tell you that I have three gentlemen right here in the studio, and this morning we'll be looking at Imo Guber need to correct political calculation in the state. The need to calculate the political, to correct the political calculation in Imo State. That's exactly why we are here, and like I did say, you'd get to meet the fine gentlemen in the studio with me. The first person here seated is Barrister Dick. Barrister Dick Adendo is a voice you are already getting used to. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, and thanks for having me once again.
It's always a pleasure to have you. And in case you do not know, Barrister Dick Adendo here is a stakeholder in Organihu Okigwe. It's a socio-political organization, and it's a pleasure to have you here once again, sir. We also have right here in the studio Honorable Guber Celestine. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, listeners. Good morning.
All right, it's a pleasure to have you today, sir. And of course, Honorable Celestine Guber is a two-time Imo State House Assembly member that represented the good people of Obowo State constituency right here in Imo State. He's also a stakeholder in Okigwe politics. You're welcome once again, sir.
Thank you, moderator.
All right, and of course, the last but not the least is Dr. Onomo Harold Wilson. Good morning to you, sir.
Yeah, good morning.
This name sounds foreign. It's a pleasure to have you in the studio, sir.
Pleasure, thank you very much.
All right, in case you do not know, Dr. Onomo Harold Wilson is a BOT chairman of Okigwe Youth Assembly, and it's a pleasure to have him here in the studio with us. Remember, I said we shall be talking about the Imo Guber scheduled for November 11 and the need to correct the political calculation right here in Imo State. Now I want to ask, is there need for correcting the political calculation? I want to start with you, Barrister Dick Adendo.
Yeah, there is absolute need and plausible need for that matter. When maybe in the existence or in the life of a group of people, occupying a geopolitical space, and you make evaluations and see that there are those who ordinarily compose that association, that geopolitical space, that are being shortchanged for a long time. Then it behoves on the practitioners, the players, the stakeholders to correct that imbalance or that inequity. I think it was William Blake who, ostensibly quoting Dante, said, "The voice of honest indignation is the voice of God." When you see an imbalance and you condemn it, and you seek through peaceful means, through appeal, persuasions, to correct that imbalance, that person essentially is representing the voice of God. That person is calling for equity and fairness. And equity and fairness and justice, these are the the pillars of social coexistence, social political coexistence. So whenever there is that imbalance and it's not corrected, it breeds discontent, it breeds malcontent, it breeds apathy, and misgivings. So that is why the Organihu Okigwe, a socio-cultural and political group, having looked at the graph of the power hierarchy in Imo State vis-a-vis the three main geopolitical zones that compose Imo State, namely Orlo, Okigwe, and Owerri.
As the three
yes, the
senatorial districts.
Yes, that compose Imo State, saw the need to look for aggregate, cooperation from the other zones, namely Owerri and Orlo, saying that having tested the Guber seat for 20 years running, out of 24 years, post Fourth Republic, that it is only fair, equitable, and just that Owerri zone should be allowed to produce the next governor. Then, from that perspective, we now looked at who are those among the aspirants. Maybe there could be more than one aspirant from Owerri zone, but we are looking at the person, that whose candidature and whose tenure will bring the desired dividends of democracy to Imonites.
All right, I think before we get to that point, let me allow Honorable Celestine Ngobiwu to come in at this point, because you actually, I'm talking to you, Honorable, two-time representative of your people, and I know that probably your people may have kind of had a test in the government house. I want to ask you, are you people still worried over the continued the continued stay of the Orlo senatorial zone in the government house? Are you really worried? I'm talking about the good people of Okigwe senatorial zone.
Yeah, right. Thank you, moderator. As you rightly said, I represented my people at the Hello Chambers of Imo government. And the people have absolute trust in me as their representative. In fact, at the beginning of this regime, they gathered and instructed me or advised me to make sure that the right thing is done during this time. That on no condition should I be there and the same people or Okigwe or Luzon will continue to be in government. That we should know that the way we do things in our constituency, that we have to allow it to replicate in Imo politics.
Okay. All right. Okay.
No, enough. So for that reason, they said that we have to make sure that I advise the people of Imo State to ensure that the right thing is done this time, by allowing a zone that has not tested the governorship position to take place, and that zone is no other zone than Owerri zone.
Okay.
And that Obo or Okigwe zone has tested under through His Excellency Kedo Hakim, whose tenure lasted for 4 years, and after which, instead of allowing him complete the 8 years, Olu zone ran into it, and since then they have been occupying.
All right.
The Okigwe people, inclusive of local Obo state constituency, of the view that Okigwe zone must support Owerri zone to produce the governor of Imo State, You know, when this is done, there will be happiness, there will be development, and this restiveness that comes up as a result of marginalization and cheating will stop. So this is the imbalance we want to correct, and we are telling the people of Imo State to abide by the concept of equity, which is which our founding fathers instituted from 1999, even though it was truncated in 2011. So we want to get it back by ensuring that the Owerri zone that has not tested that position takes the place of leadership of Imo State come November 2023.
All right, so you actually, I wouldn't exactly understand how you intend to achieve this, Honorable Ngobio, because I know that a couple of Imo elders gathered a couple of months ago, if I'm very correct, to talk about the issue of equity, I mean the Charter of Equity, and they insisted that the incumbent governor, Senator Hope Uzodinma, should hold sway till 2027, when probably the power would shift to Owerri zone. And then I know a couple of persons, including people from Okiwe zone, who actually stated that it's right, and if that's not going to happen, the power should come back to Okiwe zone, who probably have had only 4 years in the government house. And I know that part of the reasons why the Imo people agreed to zone power at the commencement of the Fourth Republic probably happens to be that the other zones have tested irrespective of the span. Except Olu zone, who never had a test of it prior to 1999. So I want to ask you, maybe you will take it, Dr. Onomo Harold Wilson. I mean, why is it that some persons from your own senatorial zone and other zones in Imo State, why is it that they want to insist that power should come back to Okiwe to at least complete 8 years before they can think of moving it to Owerri zone? Why is that?
Thank you very much. Before I go ahead to answer your question, I want to first express my sincere condolences to the people of the security agencies for the little security breach that happened in our area. On behalf of Oganiri Okiwe, we wish to express our sincere condolences to those families who lost their breadwinners, you know, and also to the families who are being tormented for not knowing anything about the security breach. We want to let them know that we are with them on this, and in whatever capacity we can, we will try to assist them to come back to normal life. Having said that, I heard you talk about Okigwe. We have been on the insistence that Okigwe has to complete their tenure 4 years extra before any other zone do that, and we have been on this matter for the past 12 consecutive years when Chief Sir Dr. Ikedi Hakim was removed from the office.
Was he really removed?
Yeah, was not allowed to complete his second tenure. Yes, he was not allowed because Olu Asaden had already completed their 8 years, and it was supposed to be for Kigwe to complete their 8 years. Unfortunately, his 8 years, 4 years, his term became truncated after 4 years. So therefore,
I don't think that's the correct word to use. His term was not actually truncated. He lost the
election. Whether you use the word losing election, it's still truncated. That means he did not complete his own zoning, which we agreed on in terms of Charter of Equity. So in that respect, we have been on this trying to, but we understand as it is today that Olu Zone has taken this set for the 20 years.
Okay.
Okigwe Zone has taken for 4 years. It's not mandatory that they complete the 8 years. And now, as it is, Okigwe Zone has no candidate running for the election. The one we thought we had initially is jaundiced. There is a problem with it.
Okay.
Because of the numerous court cases associated with it. So fortunately, we seem to have no contending candidate. So we have no option now than to gather under the auspices of Oganiri Okigwe to create room for our people to understand the reason why we must partner with Owerri Zone this particular time to get them to now start their own tenure of 4 years. If they do well, they will be able to complete their 8 years. You asked about the people who said something about Charter of Equity. I'm amused why some human beings will put a pen in paper to say that, talk about equity with a zone having 20 years to take 24 years before another zone takes 4 years. It's unacceptable. In every sane society, such things cannot be promoted. And therefore, Okigwe people cannot be part and parcel of such activity at whatever level. We cannot be part of it. Whatever people that maybe some men who will be maybe looking for money to pay their hotel bills will go and put pen in paper that a zone that has taken 20 years should take another 4 years before a charter of equity is implemented, when some zones have not spent 1 year in that office. It's unacceptable. And we have gathered, the Okigwe people, the very sane minds in Okigwe, under Oganiru Okigwe, had gathered. And the people had visited us to explain to us, to beg us, to appeal to us, to support them at this level. And after appealing to us, we went home under Imobi, in the Oganiru Okigwe, and discussed. It's now our duty to explain to our people the reason, the understanding, the major output we will gain by coming together with Owerri people to produce the next governor from Owerri Zone. Okay. And it makes it easier and faster for us in Okigwe Zone that after Owerri Zone we now have a tenure or two, Okigwe Zone can legitimately, happily, honestly seek to also, because we have 6 local governments, we are disadvantaged. We are not unaware of that. And because of that, we have taken it so seriously to enlighten our people on this. So there is nothing like Charter of Equity giving a zone 24 years before another. That is absolutely unacceptable. Even in the generality of the Imolites, I don't think anybody will be, if they want to run an election, I think they can do so. Okay. But putting in Charter of Equity as a discussion, equity, as a discussion to enable them run election to get another 4 years, it makes rubbish of the whole political atmosphere we are in. And I don't think any sane mind will support such a discussion. And I think that is what I have to say about it.
All right,
thank you
very much. Dr. Onumwani, in case you're just joining us, is Today's Politics right here on Boss Radio 98.9 FM. And my name, of course, remains Eustace Okere. Don't forget that. And this morning, we are looking at Imo Guber, the need to correct political calculation in the state. And I have the good people, or rather, socio-political leaders from Okigwe Senatorial Zone very much in the studio here. Barrister Dick Adendo is one of them. I also have Honorable Celestine Gobiwu, who is, of course, a 2-time Imo State House of Assembly member, as well as the voice you had last, that of Dr. Onomo Harold Wilson, who actually have been making case for equitable representation at the government house this time around. All right, I think this time I will let our listeners in to be part of this discussion. But before then, I want to come back to you, Barrister Dick Adendo. Is it really compulsory to go for a second tenure? I mean, having completed successfully your first tenure in office, is it compulsory to go for a second tenure?
I think the answer is simply no. Even though the Constitution provides for it, most of the arguments in favor of continuity 4+4 has always been hinged on, that the Constitution supports it. But when we talk about Charter of Equity, when we talk about equity, fairness, justice, these things are natural, they are logical. They even predate democracy. Things that ordinarily will promote coexistence. Even the so-called Constitution, Section 14, Sub 3 and 4, contemplates zoning, power sharing, rotation. If you look at Section 14.3, it contemplates impliedly, talks about zoning and rotation. That power should not be so much be seen to concentrate in one section of the country. And then in Section 14.4, relates to the state, the same principle, the same concept as it relates to the state. And then when you look at most of the parties' constitutions and manifestos, it's the same thing. Now, if you go to Switzerland, power rotates among four major ethnic groups in Switzerland.
Okay.
If you go to UK, you have the Welsh, you have Wales, you have Scotland, and then Irish, which are all integrated in policies and politics. Back home here, if you go to a state like Akwa Ibom, they have 31 local governments. Out of that 31, the Ibibio people have 18. Then Anang has 8. Oron has 5. So if there is not such thing as equity, rotation, and zoning, you see that Oron and Anang can never ever produce a governor. It was when they came to the understanding that if we don't rotate it, the Anang people and the Oron people will never taste power. That was when Akpabio became governor from the Anang tribe. So it's something that conforms with conscience, with fairness, whether constitutionally provided, explicitly. Because like I said, the sections of the Constitution I cited, it is there. Even the UDHR, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, sections 19 and 21, talks about participation. So when you rotate power, you are allowing people to participate, in the power sharing structure, and it brings peace. It makes for contentment. People will now be free to be part of the process, because I always like this rotary, creed. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it bring a better friendship and understanding, and will it be beneficial to all? So this is a principle that is rooted in justice. And wherever you don't have justice in a society, you will not claim that that society has advanced. And that's why I'm saying, okay, look at the composition of the meeting that was held in Himemba on 17th. Look at the composition. Look at the people that attended. You have Ben Duru, who was the chief host, a former SA. You had Honorable Ngozi Ogbu, a former member of Imo State House of Assembly, and a former local government chairman. And you have Honorable Ngobi, who seated there, two-time member, all encompassing the 6 local governments of Okigwe zone. So when somebody is now trying to debunk, what are you debunking? Are you debunking something that, a principle that people held? Or are you debunking it on the basis of this story of a woman who entered a vehicle, and then she saw 2 women quarreling, and she sided one. One other person said, why you just entered? Why are you siding this person? You don't know. He said, don't disturb me. That was how I sided with one woman the other day, and she paid my fare. People can hold opinions based on principle. There are others who also may hold opinion based on what they stand to gain. And that is why I quoted Blake, that the voice of honest indignation is the voice of God. So this principle is based on what is fair to all the 3 zones. And we veritably believe that if this is adhered to by shifting power to Owerri zone, having looked at the configuration since 1999, that Owerri zone has been shortchanged.
All right, in case you're just joining us, remember it's still today's politics, and we are looking at the Imo Guber and the need to correct the political calculations right here in the state. The voice you heard last is that of Barrister Dick Adindo. We also have Honorable Ngobi Celestine, very much seated here in the studio, and of course Dr. Numo Harold Wilson. He's also very much right here. Okay, let me come to you, Honorable Ngobi. You know, you actually probably we are in the state around 1999 when Imo leaders agreed unanimously to cede power to Oluzon. Now, I want to ask, why is it difficult to do same today?
During the 1999, when our leaders gathered together and saw the need to introduce the concept of equity in the politics of Imo State. In fact, those leaders, I commend them because they knew that aspect of life will bring harmony, togetherness, love in Imo State politics. So those people, I commend them, and if the right thing is to be done now, it means we have to visit or take up the concept our founding fathers, our great leaders introduced to us during that particular 1999.
Yeah, that's exactly my question. I'm asking, why is it difficult to replicate that today?
I don't think it is difficult. Only that people who are greedy, political butterflies, who don't want to see the need to get things done correctly, they are speaking for themselves. They are not speaking. For instance, if those people are from Okigwe, they are not speaking for Okigwe people, because Okigwe people they are still observing that spirit of 1999 among our leaders. So that was why when they gathered in the house of one of our own, Honorable Ben Duru, on Sunday, they took that firm stand that they must respect what our reasonable fathers started. And that meeting was well attended by almost all the sections of Okigwe, the religious, the traditional rulers, the political class, the name them traders, and they gathered and said that Okigwe must be on the same page with our great leaders who introduced that charter of equity. So anybody who is coming up now to speak otherwise is speaking on his own. It's not for Okigwe people. The Okigwe people, under the umbrella of Oganiro Okigwe, gathered on Sunday, 17th day of September, at the house of one of our own, and Himembano. No more precisely. It's verifiable. If you were there on that day, you will know that the people who gathered there are the people who have the interests of Okigwe people at heart. So any other thing contrary, is not coming from the Okigwe people.
All right.
What the Okigwe people stands for in this upcoming election is for equity, and that equity, they said, Owerri zone that has not tested that position must take up. And the Owerri zone people visited us. All the federal constituencies had their representative.
Okay.
On Sunday, they came to us. They said to appeal to us to help them. And after which, the leaders, the Okigwe people, sat and came out with a communique.
All right.
That it's a must to every Okigwe son and daughter.
All right.
And people in diaspora, Okigwe people in diaspora, have been calling us, congratulating us for such a decision. That they know Okigwe people as people who love justice, who love fairness, who love equity. They are commending us. In fact, most of them have started calling their people at home to respect that decision the Okigwe people took on Sunday. I mean, maybe people who were not there.
All
Because so those who called me were asking me, was this man around? Or this? I said yes. Most of them say that they are not, because they have common platform in WhatsApp, that they will be using it to reach their home, people, and to tell them they need to abide by the decision of Okigwe people taken at Himembano on the 17th of September. And that meeting, you can go and verify. It was anybody saying otherwise, coming up to say that no, how can you have 3 sons, you allow one son to enjoy your commonwealth for 20 years, after which you say he should go for another. Is there any reasonability in such a decision? No, the answer is no. In fact, my people, Obo people who were there that day, stood behind me, that where we go, where the Ogeniro Okigwe stands now is where they are. So anybody, it's not, like I said, it's not difficult to replicate what our fathers did in 1999. If greedy people will not come in, maybe trying to extort money from somewhere under the condition that we are leaders, elders. At my age, am I not an elder? I'm an elder. So was I there when they took that decision? Any decision that was taken outside somebody who have represented the people for good 8 years, that decision has a question mark. Maybe they were trying to avoid people who can speak the truth honestly, who can see equity as something that can affect everybody. You see,
all right.
Akara money, akara oil is sweet, but I test. I will go home, you go home happily. That is what the Oganiru people stands for.
Okay, and that's of course the fun of it. All right, I think at this point we'll have to let in our listeners to be part of this discussion. And in case you're just joining us, remember it's today's politics, and this morning we are looking at the Imo Guber and of course the need to correct the political calculations right here in Imo State. And I have social political leaders from Okigwe Zone. Barrister Dikadento is very much seated. Honorable Ngobi Celestine is also here. That's the voice you heard last. And of course, Dr. Harold Wilson is also right here in the studio. And to be part of this program, you can join us from any part of the world via our social media handles on Facebook, on Twitter, as well as YouTube, all at Boss Radio 98.9 FM Owerri. Yeah, just type Boss Radio 98.9 FM Owerri and you'll be part of the program this morning. You can also send in your messages via our WhatsApp number 0806 999 2999. I'll take that again, 0806 999 2999. That's for your WhatsApp messages. And to call, of course, you can get us on the usual numbers. You already know, 090 922 29922. I'll take that again, 090 922 29922 or 091 226 77989. 091 226 77989. Those are actually the numbers to call to be part of this discussion this morning. All right. I think Dr. Wilson, Harold Wilson, I'll be coming to you because you are the leader of the youth in Okigwe Zone, and I think I have a question for you about it, but that will be after this call. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you.
Yeah, I'm calling from Owerri.
All right, Ugochukwu, go ahead.
Actually, I'm from Obo.
Okay.
And good to have Celestine Ngobi from Amozi, one time former member Obo.
All right.
It's still the same thing that we are talking. Marginalization. Here in Nigeria, they said Hausa, Muslim, whatever. then here in Imo State again, Olo cannot allow Owerri zone or Okigwe zone to be. So our leaders, like my former house member is saying, he's an elder and elder spokesman. Why then can't allow the Okigwe zone to finish their own quarter now?
All right.
Then Okigwe zone can also help Owerri zone. Why is it that every day, every year, every time it's still over? Does it mean that Okigwe zone and Owerri zone, they are not part of Imo State? Every day they will still come to radio station to tell us who to follow or how to do this. All these people, they know the simple truth. Understand? Even if they are in my local government, Obo, understand? It's just of 6 cents that a kind of power now change hands. That Umoke person, Tomokela know is a house member or who.
All right, Ugochukwu, I think you need to wrap up so that others can also get through. Hello, Ugochukwu, are you there?
Hello? Yes. So, okay, let me be fast about it. In terms of Obo, we have the Amuzi, Senator, House of Rep, Commissioner, this one. Understand? Then all that part of Obo, they cannot allow them.
You've actually made your point. Let's allow other callers to be part of the program. 09092229922 or 09122677989 are the numbers to call. And I'll take that again. 09092229922 or 09122677989. Don't forget, our social media handles are also open and you can send in your contribution via any of them. Yes, any of them that you deem fit. All right. Dr. Harold Wilson, before we take the next call, I want to ask you, you are the youth leader, the BOT chairman of the youth or Kigwe Youth Assembly, if I'm very correct. And I want to ask you, what is the position of Okigwe youths on the issue of equity and justice?
This is not just about Okigwe youth. We should be talking about what is the position of Okigwe zone.
Yeah,
and what is the position of Imo State.
Yes,
I'm not representing. I'm not speaking specifically for the youth.
Yeah, but you are the BOT chairman.
Yes. Why I'm trying to correct that impression is that the entire organogram of the political infrastructure of Okigwe zone understand what is on board at this moment.
Okay.
Including the youths.
All right.
Yeah. So that is there's no separate discussion for the young people in this issue. The young man that just called was very specific. I think I also addressed one of the issues he raised.
Okay.
It's important we also make it very known to people that Okigwe people are entitled to this particular governorship. We're entitled to it because we did not complete our tenure. But that is not also to say that people who have not completed one single tenure are not more entitled than we are if we are talking about equity and justice. We're talking about equity, justice, and fair play. And if that is the basis for which we are discussing, there is nothing absolutely wrong. Having taken 4 years, we can also, because we have been in this battle of getting Okigwe to complete the remaining 4 years. That's 8 years tenure.
All right.
And since it was not working,
let's take this call so that
go
you
ahead.
can address the issue. Good morning to you.
Hello.
Good morning.
Yeah. Good morning. Good morning. My name is Prophet Okewan.
All right. And where are you calling us
I'm
from?
calling from Omo. I'm calling from Omo about Ilikedu local government.
All right. Go ahead.
Yeah. My take is that we need leaders, compassionate leaders, leaders with sympathy, leaders that shall go there and remember the tears, the cry, the sorrows of the people. If you read the Bible, you see that the Bible says God had the cry and the sorrows of his people Israel in the land of Egypt. He now sought for a man. God is looking for a man. not by human sense or human philosophy. Let us look for a God-sent a leader that shall go and restore what that has fallen apart. Please, let us stop sentiment. Let us stop let us stop all this mago. Please, Imo State is looking for a God sent somebody that will come and restore all that the enemy has scattered. That is my humble advice. God bless you.
All right, thank you very much. Even though I also know that God uses humans and he can use anybody to actually deliver Imo. Maybe I think Dr. Harold.
Yes, I was on something about the Okigwe. Yes, what he was saying is right, because Okigwe deserves to complete, but we have understood that Okigwe is just 6 local governments.
All right.
And as God may have it, we have been able, through sheer luck and be able to get at least a 4-year tenure. It will not be so abnormal to say, oh, this period, can we now support Owerri zone to also get these 4 years? Maybe after the 4 years of Owerri, 4 years of Okigwe, we may also say, oh, let Okigwe now go ahead and complete another 4 years. But at the stance now, Okigwe does not have a very committed. You see, before you take a decision, you must go into the details. You must study the political orography. You must understand what is happening in your state. You know, we were of the view that, oh, we should, and we have been on this since then. If you remember, it has been always the case. And our distinguished senator has always run for this governorship on the terms of completing the tenure of Okigwe zone. It has not worked. So we cannot continue on that terrain. And now we don't have a very serious candidate from Okigwe zone. What do? We must part.
All right. We must build bridges. I think I like that. Everybody must build bridge to ensure that we coexist peacefully. I mean, everywhere, to avoid rancors and some other issues about that. All right. I think it's important to begin to wrap up at this point because we are actually running out of time, and I'll be asking for your final words on the topic this morning. Don't forget, it's still Imo Guber, which of course is scheduled for November 11 this year. If I'm very correct, that's less than 2 months from now, and we are asking, or rather we are looking at the need to correct the political calculation right here in the States. And if you just joined, remember we still have Barrister Dick Adindo in the studio. I also have Honorable Gobi Celestine very much here in the studio, and of course Dr. Harold Wilson, who is also right here in the studio with us. All right, at this point I will ask for your final words in just 1 minute. Barrister Dick Adindo, I will start with you.
Okay, I think by way of summary, what we are saying, the position we have, we are holding, is based on fairness and justice. And fairness and justice brings cohesion, peace, and peaceful coexistence among groups. If somebody discovers suddenly that he's following the wrong route, he doesn't continue. You know, the reasonable thing to do is to make a turnaround, and that's what we need to do. There's no need postponing doing what is equitable in the sight of God and man. And I know that even people from Oluzon hold this view, not only Okigwe zone, not only Owerri zone. Like I said earlier, the principle of equity, fairness, and justice predates democracy. It's something that is inborn and inherent in man. So let us do the right thing, irrespective of our own, selfish interests.
All right, let us do the right thing. That's according to Barrister Dick Adindo. All right, over to you, Honorable Ngobi. Your final words. I wish you can do that in 3 sentences.
Yeah, thank you. My advice to the people of Imo, especially the Olo people, is to run behind Owerri zone the next election. Also taking the steps the Okigwe people have taken, let the Olo people see the need to allow Owerri people take the position this time, and also call on the Owerri people to work hard and make sure that this offer or sacrifice the Okigwe people have taken that that gives a good result at the end of the day. And also call on my people or Kigwe people, those who were not present at the meeting we had at Umuopara Ehimemba, not at the house of Honorable Ben, to take the decisions we have taken that day, and let us work closely to achieve the desired goal we had in mind in taking that decision.
All right, thank you, Honorable, and to you, Dr. Harold Wilson.
I want to thank my people of Okigwe Zone, and wish to advise them in a short while we will be moving from one local government to the other to actually explain the reasons for our decision. And in the summary, part of our decisions, having looked at these candidates, was to endorse the candidature of Senator Sam Anyanwu of the People's Democratic Party. Right. He is the person we endorsed, and he is the person because we have watched all the candidates, including the one in other parties, and we found out that he is the person that has developed enormous capacity as a former House member, former chairman, and former senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to become the next governor of Imo State.
Thank you very much. Dr. Onumo Harold Wilson. And of course, thank you, gentlemen, for coming today on the program. And thank you, sincerely wonderful listeners. My name is Eustace Okera, wishing you a very fruitful day ahead. Enjoy your day.